So did Powell's surprise move just save the stock market here? Let's find out with our daily SPY analysis. Again, it is Wednesday, March 19, 2025. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. We'll do another giveaway soon too if we can continue reaching 200 likes per video. So I'll do them. I'll keep doing them for doing that. But anyway, give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment, subscribe to the channel, and come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts analysis and live day trading. Again, doing that sale here, 60% off active trader and 20% off swing trades. Take advantage of that. That's for another couple weeks. Anyways, let's get into it here today. So markets today with at the end of the day, a 1% rally on the spiders, 1.3 on the Qs, and the Russell 1.56, Dow up just under 1. Powell kind of expected, and was talking to Besant, has been having weekly meetings, and Besant's been trying to pull him towards the hawkish side. As it's no secret the administration wants to kind of rein things in a little bit with markets, and today was kind of a dovish pause. He was dismissive of inflation. He brought back the inflation is transitory line, and markets like that here. So is the correction over? I would just be really careful here. I don't think the market's out of any sort of danger at the moment. We did have a very good pop here, and I knew this was going to happen. Not to be like arrogant or anything, but this was a pretty easy call here that we were going to bid on this FOMC, especially once we saw the open. This is very reminiscent of a time that I remember specifically. I don't know if a lot of people do, because this happened to be my best trading day ever, so easy for me to remember this one. But March 16th, 2022, that was also FOMC. And if you'll recall, we had this big sell-off ahead of time. We rolled over, everybody got bearish, and then we had a gap and go, another gap and go, and we sold off really hard intraday, but that led to a 3-week rally. A similar price action here. This almost looks like it's bull trap, right, to gap up and gap and go on the FOMC, but we improved structure here. That's kind of what counts, is that if we opened down here, there would have been so much room for a lower high, and I think that structure here helped out. I just would have liked us to slice a little bit deeper. I wanted to buy this down here, but we got a good bid off the lows. Bottom line, plus there was a lot of other internals that were kind of telling us that we were going to go up. But I'll be honest, I don't like this close like at all, especially on the Qs. So we knew that 570 was going to be a resistance as soon as we got through the 65 call wall, 570, and we also know this is a big macro trend line anyway. And to be fair, we rallied 100 points in an hour, so we should have it shouldn't have broken. Like, I would have been really surprised if we just like mowed through it, but I would have liked us to close above Monday's high. That's not too much to ask. If there's really a pivot low in place, you should be able to do that. It's not that difficult if bulls are actually asserting control. And not only did not do that, but we didn't close above last Monday's high. So if you're a bear and you went short there, you're still right, at the money. These guys are still underwater, but in order to make them all underwater, you got to clear 570. We didn't do that, and the Qs look a lot worse. So the lag 7, as they're calling them now, and you still have now this is starting to look more bear in sidebar. If it if it does roll over, I don't think it's going to go a ton lower. Still think kind of risk reward here is still more skewed to the upside. That doesn't mean we can't go down first, into this area here. There's, that's probably where buyers would show up. But I don't like the close. It's just really that simple. I mean, if it's strong, it shouldn't be that difficult to get above here. So I would not rule out some bear activity tomorrow, for sure. In fact, I thought we would be down tomorrow anyway, no matter how much we pumped today. And if we were down today, I would assume up tomorrow. That said, so I don't like the face value here. That said, your positives here, and they're not small positives, believe it or not. One of them is that it's OPEX week, so there's a lot of pinning going on. So follow through is going to be hard to come by in some cases. But what really does it for me is volatility. Volatility was terrible here. And it was basically no bid all day long. You'll recall, back here on 2 Wednesdays ago, or last Wednesday, I said volatility is decaying rapidly. and it's going to be a tailwind for markets. And sure enough, said as long as we hold below 25, we'll go to 1950. What was the low of the day here? 1942. So there we are. That has come back in. Now, is it going to rip higher? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't think it's going to really rip. I think 19 is good support for right now. But this is weak, and that tells me that this back off here, I mean, it was going to back off no matter what. I mean, that was just, you went straight into it with no pullback. But it tells me that based on the weakness, it's a lot likely more just due to the market being tired there than it is like somebody's looking for a big move here to the downside, at least not right now. And also, again, a lot of pinning effects going on. So a lot of the time volatility will get suppressed even when the market's going down during an OPEX week, because it's not so much about selling the tape. It's more about just keeping it in a range. So volatility suppression keeps you from crashing while they can still push it lower. That's one big positive. A couple other ones. IWM was like the strongest bid today. And when small caps are leading, this is up the most out of all indexes. Usually that's a good sign. Like if it's really risk off, why are small caps outperforming? So that's a positive. And IWM did close above Monday's high and close above the gap from Friday. So that's a big positive. Another big one is, this is risk on. Bitcoin back above the 20 and 200. So, it was kind of on the fence, like, was it going to be like a rollover here? But now it's more looking like, this was kind of like bull inside bar action. So like the two biggest risk on areas of the market are acting risk on. Usually not a bad sign. That said, we need to see tech catch up. I think your best bet here now is that, going into next week or going, after this week, we could still see some positive flow in the end of quarter. And if we could just hold up here, I think, we could base beneath 570 on an intraday basis and just kind of carve out like a little range here. We've already hit this twice now in the last, 2 or 3 days. So if we build structure here, we can go through that. The other big positive from a like a quantitative standpoint is for Friday, we still have quite a bit. And I'm putting on my other, there we go. We still have quite a bit of max pain kind of numbers up at 580 on SPY here. So a lot up there. So if we do base, maybe that does take place. But, and I believe 490 on QQQ is still there. We'll have to see what that looks like tomorrow. But definitely not a big fan of the close, but there are positives out there. And I think OPEX has a lot to do with it. So we'll see if the character changes next week as we get to that end of quarter. So right now, again, those are the levels. 570 above that, that's a bull bear line. Bulls retain some control above that. QQQ, yeah, we got a bit of a 484 on a close. IWM's fine. I think this can, even though the 20 MA right now, I might pause here, but this looks better than SPY and QQQ, and the Dow reclaimed the 200 today. But I would prefer the NASDAQ reclaiming the 200, not the Dow. SMH here, it was green. We knew the 230 was going to be a little resistance. I prefer to see a higher high there. If this can base out, though, it can try for 240, 245. That's big resistance, though. IGV was okay, though. IGV at 1.5. Didn't reclaim the 200, but, it's better structurally here. It's way above that Monday gap down. And the weekly chart is what I like about it, too. So I like that there. Dow transports they round tripped today like crazy. So up, down, and then up here. That actually had a decent close. This is way over under the downside, but yeah, it's, trend is down now. Interest rates. So, it's funny. I saw all the macro people on my feed, talking about, oh, well, Powell's not cutting, they're going to do this and that. Well, the 2-year is down 1.56. So 2-year saying you don't know what you're talking about. We'll see if that, okay, like a lot of this is probably, bond shorts just covering out of the Fed here. So we'll see what it does tomorrow. It could be right back up. But right now, the 2-year is basically saying We're looking for a slowdown. We don't believe what the macro geniuses are saying. Even 10s and 30s down. Not as much, but they were down. We'll see. I still think the long end stays firm. We'll see what it does tomorrow. If it's right back up, then we know that that was just short hedges coming off. But the 2-year, I don't think that one is lying. XHB had a decent day, again, still holding weekly support. You know, really got to clear like 102 though to get into better technical shape here. BNQ inside day, again, needs to base to get through 92. XLF had a beautiful follow through. It did take some gains on my FAS just now. Yeah, nice follow through here. If the rest of the market, and I guess here's a positive too. You know, XLF up 1.1 and it finished right near the highs. Banks have been acting well. So that's definitely a good sign. And I love that weekly trend line. Looks very nice right back above. KRE up 1.25. Couldn't reclaim the 200. It's got a chance to do it by the end of the week though. And again, that came off the highs too, but nothing horrible really. Still closed above, you know, prior day highs at the high of the week basically. So again, you know, if KRE's in good shape, that's usually not a bad thing. SKBE, same chart. Broker dealers were strong too. That probably needs to back off here though with that 120 moving average necktie there. Oil has just been like a nothing burger here. So you have bears, but you have all these shorts here waiting for this bear flag to play out. I don't think it will, but the longer it spends down here, the weaker it gets. So if this is going to break up, I want to see it happen soon. The positive is, and this is where all the money going from tech is going to, it's not just Europe, XLE. I thought this would back off of this trend line. Usually the third hit will. Usually the third hit is a pierce and then a back off. I don't know, that's a little bit more than a pierce it looks like, but again, it's OpEx Friday, you know, it's quarterly, maybe they yank it back down. But that was strong today. My Exxon Mobil having a nice move here. Look at Chevron. That's almost back to 52-week highs. Look at that's a 100% retrace there. So look at Chevron here, peaking above. XOP also had a good day too. Closed above that breakdown bar from last week, or sorry, the beginning of the month. Still got a lot of work to do, but that's a good sign. Nice liquidity grab, flush the low, and then boom, right back up. OYH trying to hold above that key 260 area. Then 270 after that. Nat gas here trying to curl back up. Not really much to do here except wait for that to consolidate. I'm not really interested in gas right now. Dollar index, this, you know, until the Fed decision, this was very strong, like all day long. This was really strong, and then boom, right back down. Dollar yen did come down pretty sharply. I think a lot of that was dollar coming down versus the yen, more so than yen strength. So I'm not as worried about it from a structural standpoint of the market. Yes, it was a weak close today, but I don't think this was really, it was more about a dollar story than it was the yen. So I'm not like thinking it's huge risk off. I'm not saying it won't be, but I don't think this would be the real reason here. Gold, new all-time high, new all-time closing high. It's going to go to 30.76. If it gets there, or if it doesn't get there before the contract roll, then it's 30.90. Silver still going to 38. Platinum and palladium, not really doing anything of note here. Copper just goes up every day, especially when they mention tariffs. Going into some supply up here though, but this rolls every month though. I don't even know if that supply matters. So, Bitcoin again we talked about was up, and really all the alts were too, and the alts were up more. I mean they all look like crap, but I mean they're, you know, for what it's worth they're up. Oh, XRP, they got that lawsuit news, so that was good. But not really a great pump off of that, considering this weekly chart's still pretty good though. It's way overdone on the monthly. It needs to do a lot of consolidation. But anyway, yeah, Bitcoin held up. I'd like to see it follow through here and try to go towards 92. Would be a good sign for the equity markets, but again, it's been a choppy, really sloppy period. So right now, I wouldn't rule out bears coming back tomorrow. maybe even a little bit into Friday, but who knows? I mean, again, a lot of stuff goes on at the end of the day, FOMC wise, a lot of noise. You know, the market could gap up tomorrow. You know, there's nothing saying that can't happen, but I think we're going to be. I think if it was strong, they should have made a decision today and just closed it up here. So we'll see what we get. Anyways, guys, all wrapped up here again. You guys take care. Don't forget to come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I will see you guys all tomorrow.